So what's up, man? How's the night going?
Pretty good. I just did the kids classes at the academy with Kama.
Nice. They got you teaching out there?
Yeah, Kama was like he told me if I could get back in the gym, it would like help me like mentally. So and he was right for sure. So I go in on Mondays and Wednesdays and I help all the little kids in class. And it's really fun. And honestly, like we're like learning that like right now we're doing rear naked chokes. And just like watching the little kids do it, first of all, it's like really fun, and second of all, I think it's like I don't know, it's just good to like just teach someone because then it kind of helps you learn. I don't know if that makes sense, but just like helping teach and like talking through it, I'm like I think I'm getting it down more myself too.
I've heard that from a lot of people that sometimes teaching helps them learn just from afar. I always think that's really interesting when I see guys start coaching and maybe they learn things through coaching that they wouldn't have learned themselves if they were the ones training. So how long's it been? Like when did Kama get you started with teaching and stuff? I honestly didn't know you did that there.
Yeah, I helped teach a kids class. Um, it was a while before the fight, and he like was asking me to help, but I work at Starbucks full time, and it's a good gig. I mean, I make money, and it's not like a tough job necessarily. So I can't like I couldn't like give him all my time necessarily. But now that I don't really train since I got the elbow to take care of, he was like, "Come in, help teach the kids classes. It'll just like keep your mind right and keep you around the gym." So I helped teach a kids class way back, and I really liked it. And then now was like the perfect opportunity to get started in again. So this was my first week. So I did Monday and then I did tonight, which is Wednesday.
That's awesome, dude. Like I said, I had no idea you were teaching kids classes, but that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a really interesting thing for you to do. And I was actually going to ask you, you got ahead of me with that. I was going to ask you what your day job is because I know you work a good bit. It seems like we've tried to track down an interview a few times and you're working a lot, man. So, Starbucks, I got to know, like, what's the Craig Perry signature drink? Do you make your own special drink while you're there?
It's really boring. It's just so like I don't know how much you know about coffee, and I'm not like crazy into coffee. Like I'm not like a nerd about it. But whenever you do like a drip coffee, you can do like a medium roast, a dark roast, or a light roast. And I do the light roast with just cream in it, and that's like my go-to. And sometimes I do like a fun drink or something, but for the most part, if you see me drinking something, it's probably gonna just be a blonde roast with cream in it.
Dude, I gotta say, for as fun as you are in the cage, that's gotta be the most boring coffee order ever.
It is super boring. It's not fun. I'm trying to think. If I'm like feeling like, if I want something sugary, I never do the frappuccinos. Like the things that look like milkshakes.
Yeah, yeah.
I never do those. They're the most delicious, but like it's like eating two meals in one drink. It's crazy. But the chai tea iced is really good. I don't
Nice.
know. Are you a
That's
coffee drinker?
I do, man. I freaking love coffee every day. I have my own little espresso machine and stuff here so that
Oh,
I
okay.
I abuse that thing. Yeah, I get after it in the coffee game. When you get old like me, man, you need that every morning.
You're not. How old are you? You don't look very old.
31.
You look like
I just turned
really. I would have guessed
31,
like
yeah.
26. I would have guessed
Most people
26
do,
or something.
yeah. Yeah, I think I got a little baby face. I look younger than I am for sure.
Yeah, which is good because in like 10 years, everyone's gonna be wishing they looked
I
like you.
know. I'm excited about that. Actually, funny enough, I was just with Ryan at a casino of all places, and I went to walk in and they stopped me. She was like, "Sir, sir." And I didn't think she was talking to me because I was like, "Well, clearly, I'm 31. I'm old enough to be here." But she was like alarmed that I was underage and trying to get into the casino. I was like, when I handed her my ID, I was like, "You're going to be surprised when you see this."
What's the age to get in a casino? Like 18?
I don't know if it's 18 or 21. I was assuming 21 because they serve drinks and everything. They bring drinks around on the floor. It's probably
Oh
21,
yeah,
but I honestly don't even know. Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of crazy that she stopped you like that.
I know. Like, I feel like I look young, but not that young. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I agree.
But, dude, like, you definitely, obviously, you are young. You're under 20. Are you 20?
Yeah, I'm 20. I turned 21 on Friday.
Nice, that's fun.
Yeah.
Any fun plans going on for that?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I think I'm gonna go out on Friday with my girlfriend and my sister and a couple friends. Like nothing crazy, but I think we're gonna go out Friday. Saturday night though, I'm watching the fights, which is like the Colby Masvidal fight. I'm watching that, and then maybe Sunday I'll do something. But I'm not like a huge partier. But I mean, it's you only get one 21st birthday, so
Sure. So what's gonna be the first alcohol you ever taste in your life?
the first alcohol I ever taste in my life, because I've never had alcohol, is gonna be
Mhm.
probably the proper 12 whiskey if I can find it. I That's just got to be it. The Conor McGregor whiskey, right?
For sure, dude. You'll find it. You'll find that for sure. A lot of places have it, and I think it was funny enough, man, when that whiskey came out, I was working for Flow Combat at the time, and they actually sent me a bottle of it to review, and I did a big video review and stuff. We compared it to Jameson and Tullamore Dew because that was the two big Irish whiskeys, mainstream Irish whiskeys that Connor wanted to kind of take out in the marketplace. So I was like, why not just line all three up? We'll blind taste them. I got my friends with me, and we didn't know which ones we were drinking. Like we had people off camera pouring the drinks for us, so we had no idea which ones we were drinking, and we were just saying which ones was the best. And Connor's won in a clean sweep for everybody. Like everybody
Really?
literally thought Connor's was the best. Yeah, and he actually Connor retweeted the video and stuff, and it blew up.
Are you
Like we got all
serious?
kinds of attention. Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
That is crazy. That's so cool, actually.
Yeah, the video's almost definitely still on YouTube. If you type in like Flow Combat Proper 12 whiskey, I bet it comes up.
Yeah, I'll have to
But
look that
yeah.
up, especially because Connor retweeted it. That's insane.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts. So I know, like, obviously, we can tell from your style and so. And you know what? I actually got a video clip. We're gonna play it for the good people at home to see this because we'll tie it into the whole Connor thing. But I wanted to talk about this. Nice. So you could tell just from watching the clip, the commentators mentioning Conor McGregor quite a few times just watching you fight. What is it? What was it about Conor that appealed to you so much right away? Obviously, he had the charisma and the attention and everything, but that's one thing. But to go out and kind of emulate his fighting style and take pieces from the way he fights is a totally different thing. What appealed to you on that level?
I don't know, it's just like so like athletic. I don't know, it's just so cool. Like I feel like he moves different than anyone else. Um, I mean, obviously, like every fighter in the UFC is a crazy super athlete. But I don't know, just like something about him, especially because I wasn't doing MMA when I started to like him. I was just a hockey player, so everyone loved Connor, and it was just cool, like watching like all those videos of him do like his unorthodox training. And I mean, I didn't even really mean to start fighting like him. I'm just a southpaw. Like I throw with my left. I do most things with my left, which kind of sucks because this again. But once I got in the gym, I guess I just subconsciously, the first time I sparred or anything, I just kind of like did what I knew, which was like what I watched Connor do. So maybe that's what it is. But I mean, I feel like just like the confidence just draws you to him. Like every interview you watch, like it's addictive. Like a lot of interviews that guys do, it's just like you just watch the first question and you're like, okay, I know how the whole interview is gonna go. Like they're gonna ask him, "How do you feel?" "Oh, I feel good." Like blah blah blah. But if you ask it, like I don't know, just Connor's just different. That's why I got drawn to him. And then like his fighting style, I think it just looks the coolest. Like it's flashy and it's always entertaining, and he's never holding back, which is pretty sweet.
One thing I'll definitely say is I think people have forgotten how good of a fighter Conor McGregor actually is. And I think that he gets a lot of hate now for a lot of the wrong reasons. When you talk about Conor McGregor as a fighter, it's hard to really talk too much smack, in my opinion. I still think I could make a case that Conor McGregor is the best featherweight of all time. I think I could do that, and I have
I'm not
done
gonna
that
argue with
actually
you.
in the past. Like, at his peak, he was amazing, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that because obviously he took the Floyd Mayweather fight, and that put a huge gap in his training. Then he fought Khabib and lost to Khabib, which everybody does, and then after that,
Mhm.
everything went off the rails a little bit, but I'm really anxious to see his next fight, man, honestly. I mean, I'm always gonna tune in for a Conor McGregor fight no matter who he's fighting, but I think I don't know if I'm just sipping the Kool-Aid or what, but I feel like he still has something to show.
I think so too. I mean, like obviously we're gonna get hate for saying he could be the greatest featherweight of all time. Like everyone's gonna be like
Sure.
Jose and Holloway, but I mean I don't know. Like if you watch him and you just like like not based on numbers or whatever. If you just watch him fight, like and he beat Holloway and he beat Jose, like he beat them both. And I mean, like maybe numbers don't add up, but like if you just watch him in his prime, like I don't know. It'd be hard to say that he's not like the greatest featherweight of all time.
I mean, you made the ultimate point there, which is what I say to everybody is that head-to-head competition to me matters more than anything else. And
Hmm.
he beat both of them definitively, or there was no question in either of those fights who won. You know, you knocked
Yeah,
Jose Aldo out in 13 seconds, and then you dominated Holloway for a decision with a bad leg as well. And I know Holloway was
I was gonna
also
say,
hurt in
didn't
that
he hurt his
fight.
leg?
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess they were both hurt in that one, but still, the way he won that, I think surprised a lot of people, and just his whole run. I mean, the Chad Mendez is an absolute animal, and especially at that time, Chad Mendez
Hmm.
was an animal. And if you want to put an asterisk on that one, you can say if Chad had a full camp, maybe that fight would have been different, and maybe it would have. But
Yeah,
we don't
maybe.
play in ifs in MMA. All we know is that when they fought, Conor McGregor won. And then obviously
Yeah,
what he did to Eddie Alvarez to follow up the Aldo victory, that was ridiculous. One of the cleanest performances. That's up there with like I just saw a question the other day on Twitter, I think it was. They asked what's the most flawless MMA performance of all time. And the first two I thought of were Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin and Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. I mean, that's
yeah,
pretty much as good as it gets.
yeah. I agree. Like that, I watched that fight against Eddie so much. Like literally everything he did was perfect, and he like didn't even break a sweat. It looked like he just makes it look so easy, which I think is like that's probably like the greatest. That's how you know someone's like really good if they can make it look easy. Like whenever you're watching a fight and you're watching with buddies and they all start getting like riled up. Like if you're watching like a UFC fight and someone wins by knockout and everyone in the room is like, I could have knocked that guy out. That's how you know that the guy who knocked the guy out is really good. Because as soon
Yeah.
as you go spar for your first time and you video yourself, you realize like how much of a clown you look like.
it's
You know
it's
what I mean?
super unnatural, 100%. I think it's hilarious, you being around the sport, obviously training now, teaching now, you completely understand. But like those first couple weeks, what were they like for you? Because like you said, you were a hockey player before this. You didn't really have a combat sports background like a lot of these guys do. What were those first couple training sessions, sparring sessions like for you? What made you think, this is what I want to do?
Well, I think that the fact that I didn't spar for a while, which was like Kama's advice, he's like, just learn. He's like, learn everything. Don't even think about being a fighter yet. That was great advice. And Dave told me that too. Dave Sachs. They both did. Because at the time, I didn't really like, I got to, like, I introduced myself around, but I mean, I didn't really know like anyone else too much. I was just like a random person doing classes. So doing the classes was like super fun. And I can't really remember exactly what the first few weeks were like if anything crazy happened. I think for the most part, I just actually one of the first times I went to boxing, there was no one there. Like this was I can't remember what time of year it was. I think it was like the end of August. And I'm not sure why. There was just no one there that day. And Kama was like, "Oh, I guess you're getting a free private." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, he has I don't know what they're called exactly. Like they're not like the mitts. They're like they look like little paddles. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yep.
And he had those, and I never boxed in my life. And he's like getting so mad at me. He's like, you have no hand eye, bro. You can't hit this. And then he's like he's like, aren't you a boxer? Like halfway in. And I'm like, no, I've never boxed in my life. And I think I think he thought I was someone else, but it was funny because I was like, he was just giving me a free private. And at the time I was so nervous because I was like, I've never boxed. And I'm like making this guy so mad at me. But like, if you get to know Kama, you know, like the fact that he's getting mad means he cares. And that's super cool. Cause he was like trying his hardest with like some random kid at the time.
That's
But
freaking
yeah, the first
awesome,
few
man.
weeks, yeah, yeah, it was fun.
I think Kama, the connection he has with you and with everybody at the academy is honestly really special. I know how much he's meant to you in your journey and your mixed martial arts journey and what he's done. And I mean, what a guy to have in your corner, right? As far as Pittsburgh MMA legends go, Kama's right at the top. You know, if you're building Mount Rushmore, he's got to be on it of Pittsburgh MMA. So to have a guy like that in your quarter, man, what's that feel like? And I'll even tie it into your last fight at BitB 10. You know, obviously the fight didn't go the way you wanted it to, but being able to fight on the same card as Kama, prepare with Kama, get ready for a fight that he's headlining. How special was that moment for you?
It was cool. I don't think I got to like take it in as much as I like would have liked, obviously on the night, but even like leading up, like we're all training together and Kama's getting his sparring in and I'm getting mine. And I did like every time they were sparring, Kama gave me at least one round. Um, but watching him get ready, like I said, I was mostly trying to like get ready myself, but it was like crazy because I mean the guy's like he's UFC caliber in my opinion. Obviously I'm biased, but I mean I just think he had like a few unlucky breaks. Now unfortunately that's the way the game goes. He just got cut, but I think he's UFC caliber. And you're watching this guy train, and then he's like there on fight night, like in the back, just like all relaxed, ready to go. It was crazy. It was really cool. And I'm sure like hopefully everything like goes well for me. But at the end, if I make it out in one piece, like when I'm older and I like look back, I'm gonna be like, wow, I fought on the same card as Kama. Like that's crazy.
It's going to be a really cool moment for you, man. I think it is, like you said, I'm sure getting prepared for the fight and everything, you've got everything to worry about. It was hard for you to really take it in at that time, but I'm glad that you've been able to reflect and everything. I'm trying to look. Kama made his MMA debut in 2009 as an amateur. I was trying to decide how old you would have been whenever he debuted. You were like 7 or 8.
Um, yeah, 8. I think I would have been like depending on like the like weird birthday, like what time of year it was. But yeah, 8.
Sure. That's hilarious, man. So
That is
at
crazy.
BitB 10, obviously we got to get into this. You know, you mentioned the elbow a few times. Do you care if I show a picture for
No,
people
go
watching? Is
ahead.
that
I've
cool?
been showing it to
All right,
everybody.
all right. I was gonna say you've been a really good sport about it in general. Like just for a little behind the scenes for people listening, Craig. Oh, we'll show the picture first, then I'll get into this. How about
Okay.
this? Let's show this. So here's what happened, unfortunately, in Craig's fight. You can see that arms are not supposed to bend that direction,
Mm-mm.
but this is on our Instagram account at 247 Fighting Championships. If you want to get a look, if you're a sicko that wants a second look of this, by all means. But the one thing that I really wanted to talk about here is this. Comma Worthy commenting on the photo. It's just a little setback for a bigger comeback, homie. Like, what did that mean for you? Did you see that comment first of all, and second of all, what did it mean to you in that moment
Mm.
that he, you know, commented that had something to say publicly? Because I'm sure he talked to you privately, but it does mean something when a guy goes out of their way to do it in public too.
Yeah, I think I liked it. Can you check? I should have liked it. I know I saw it, and unless I was on like some pain meds, did I like it? I hope I did. Yeah,
Yep,
I did. All
sure
right,
did.
sweet.
Look at that.
I
Nice.
remember seeing it. Yeah, I mean, like just honestly, like Kama especially, but everybody. Just I mean, the amount of like messages and support I got. I was telling Kama this today, and he like yelled at me for thinking like this. But just like the amount of support I got after that made me feel even worse, honestly, because I just was like, I just let everybody down. Like I have like I don't even deserve like the support that I got. I feel like, but then again, like Kama yelled at me. He's like, "No, you shouldn't think like that." Whatever. But just I mean, everyone was like so nice. Like I had like so many messages, and everyone's like everyone that paid money to come watch, like that I sold tickets to, like in my head I was like, oh my gosh, they just paid $50 and they're all just sitting there, and I lost in the first 17 or whatever it was. And but everyone was like so nice. Everyone was like, oh, I'm sorry, what happened? Like you'll be back. Like it was honestly crazy. I never would have guessed that that would have happened like that and that everyone would be so supportive. But I mean, I'm so lucky. Like I have like the best family, friends, girlfriend, like, and Kama saying that like in public is really cool too. Cause like obviously he doesn't need to, but, and he sent me like a nice message and we talked on the phone. So everyone was like super nice.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. And I think it's a funny, I do honestly, I put myself in your shoes a little bit and I can understand where you're coming from with that feeling of that you let everyone down. During the fight, did you really know what happened at the time? How long did it take you to fully understand, what happened? Because
Um,
I always hear fighters say, they have no idea what round they're in or what
yeah.
happened. So were you aware like exactly what went down?
Well, so we were in the clinch, and then whenever first of all, I did not expect them to take me down there. Like I thought I was just gonna work. Like I thought we were gonna work on the fence for a little while. And when he did that mat return, like I normally like we've worked break falls at the gym all the time. Like everyone knows, don't post out, which is also another reason I feel so stupid about everything. Like why did I post out? But I mean, it is what it is. It happened. But so I think that's why I just didn't expect them to like take me down there. And then so we go down, and it felt like I just stubbed my pointer finger because I remember that like felt real weird after. And I was like, oh man, I just stubbed my finger. But also like I feel like my arm just hurt, but it didn't hurt bad. It just felt like someone like hit it. And I remember I was like, I remember I was on the bottom and he was on top, obviously, but I was thinking like, okay, let's just work out of this. And I go to move, and I remember like my left arm would not move. And then like I don't know how it clicked in my head, but I just knew right then like something's wrong. And so I looked at the ref. I remember like real specific. I like looked at the ref and I was like, my arm, my arm. Like I wasn't like screaming. I don't think I might have been, but I just remember like super clear headed being like my arm, my arm. And he looked at it and he stopped it right away. And then once they popped it back in, all the pain was like right away. And
Mm.
also once they popped it back in and I realized that I can move it again, my first thought was like, is this something that I should have just waited in between rounds for them to do? But then like now I realize that was a stupid thought. But it was weird. Like it didn't feel real. Like the whole thing, just because it was such a short fight. Like I wasn't sweaty, and my arm like went out of place, which is like a really weird feeling. And I don't know. Like it was really weird. It's hard to describe, but yeah, that's like the best I can
It
describe it.
was that's a really good description because I'm sure it was bizarre. Like you said, everything happened super fast. And honestly, sitting cage side watching the fight, I had no idea what happened either. At first, I was super confused. I had no idea why he was stopping the fight because, like you said, I don't remember you yelling honestly until, like you said,
Hmm.
after they popped it in. I remember, you could hear that that was super painful for you. But
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, why is he stopping this fight? Like what just happened? It was weird, dude. It was a very weird ending to that, and I'm sure that going down is a loss for you, which, I don't know how I feel about that. It's technically a loss. I get that, but
Hmm.
there was not enough of a fight really to determine anything there, in my opinion. So, how have you been handling that afterwards, knowing that now you're 0-2 as an amateur fighter, both fight the first fight, we talked about it all the time on the podcast, Ryan and I. If anybody listens to this, we've said it 1,000 times. That was just a phenomenal fight. One of the best fights of the year. Super close decision. Could have gone to you, could have gone to Sean like it did. That was just an awesome fight. That's we tell amateurs all the time, man. When you have fights like that, there's really no loser. You're an amateur. You're here for the experience, for the reps, to help build your skills to become an effective pro. So for that fight, maybe technically that's a loss on your record, but I definitely don't see it that way. And the next one, you get 30 seconds of action and you dislocate your arm. So
Yeah.
where are you at right now with your career? How are you feeling? Like where you at?
um, yeah, I mean, like, like I'm gonna be honest, like it was tough. Like I've spoken about it with multiple people. It's like a really like I don't know. It's like a lot of back and forth in your own head, especially because you have a lot of time to think. And like obviously I'm not the first person to ever get injured and like start doubting themselves, whatever. Like a bunch of people have been through this, which has actually helped because I've found that I like watching interviews of guys that have been like on a rough patch recently that are trying to turn it around. Like I watched a Darren Till interview the other day. It might have been I forget when it was posted, but it was just recent. Like he's up training in Sweden or whatever. And for
Yep.
anyone that doesn't know, Darren Till just lost twice, but he's like a beast. And he did an interview and he's like super positive and he's got like a whole new mindset. And to me, like just because of the position I'm in right now, that's very attractive to me, like in terms of like interviews. Like if I had to watch like an interview of someone in their prime right now, like if I had to watch like a Kamaru Usman interview or if I had to watch the Darren Till one, I watch the Darren Till one right now, just because like I can relate more. Like so, I mean, it's a lot of like the first 2 weeks I'm just bedridden and I can't do anything and I'm like on these pain pills and I feel like they're not doing anything. And the whole time I'm just like eating whatever. And I mean, the first 3 days was like, all right. Like, I'm like, okay, I just starved myself for the fight and I'm like relaxing and everything's going to be okay. And I'm just going to like have these few days and then everything will go back to normal. And then like you get past the first few days and you're tired of eating junk food and you're tired of like sitting in bed. And I don't know, I guess it's kind of sad to see like everything keeps going on without you. Like I don't know. It's really hard to describe, but it's a lot of stuff to work through that is definitely going to help me because I feel like after this, let's say it happens again next fight, like God forbid, but let's just say it happens again next fight. Like it's just character building, I think. And what helps the most is talking to other people and just getting back to work however you can. Like Kama having me do the kids class has been like such a blessing because if I don't know. Like I was talking to Kama about it today. Like if I don't have the gym and stuff and just like MMA in general, um, like it might be bad to say, like I'm sure like you're not supposed to rely on like outside sources to feel good, but without that stuff, I just feel like not like I don't know, I just like I don't know. There's just nothing there for me. If
Nah,
that makes
man, that's a
sense.
super mature. It does. It makes perfect sense. I think that's a super mature mindset, honestly. It's funny that we were talking earlier how you're only just about to turn 21, but that's a really mature way of thinking. That's a really mature way to handle it. And I think a lot of fighters have been through it, like you said, and you're definitely fortunate to be at a place like the academy that has so many experienced fighters that have experienced bad loss. I mean, we talked about it earlier, with Kama being in the UFC for 5 fights and ending on that 3 fight skid. Like that could be so many fighters just call it quits after something like that. They make it there and then, okay, I had 5 fights, won two, lost three. That's it, I guess. But Kama came right back, obviously just scored an awesome TKO at BIP 10 in the main event. There's something to that mindset of being able to constantly be able to get back that I think impresses me more than anything about fighters. And maybe that's why, even tying it further into our conversation, Conor McGregor, why there's still a part of me that feels like Conor still has more to show, because how epic would it be if Conor came back and did go on another title run now when people think he's completely washed. So I think those stories are appealing. And like you said, when you got the right mindset, the right mentality, it makes it that much sweeter. I mean, it's almost cliche, but it's exactly what Kama said in that comment. The setbacks just setting up a bigger comeback. That's what it's all about, man. And especially for
Yeah.
you, being as young as you are, being an amateur, your career is still super, super bright, man. So I definitely wouldn't want to see you get down on yourself too much. Like you said, take 3 days to eat flaming hot Cheetos for sure. But then after that, it's back on the saddle, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure anyone that's gotten injured, like, and they're like 35 is probably like, this kid is like, he's being dramatic. Like, he's got so many years, whatever. And they're right. Like, it's going to be fine. I'll be back. Like when I look back on it in 5 years, I'll be like, oh, such a small window. I barely remember it. Like, I actually broke my left thumb in sparring exactly a year ago, like in February last year. And at the time, it didn't feel like a huge setback because I wasn't like a fighter or anything yet. But now when I look back on it, I barely remember it. So yeah, everything will be fine. But there are like, not gonna lie, there are just like thoughts you got to work through. I mean, it's like everyone says it's part of it. And if you look up any fighter that's gotten injured and look up an interview of them after they've gotten injured, they'll talk about the same thing. I saw on Instagram, and I sent it to Coach Dave. What was the guy's name that just knocked out Johnny Walker? Can't remember it.
Jamahal Hill.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember he snapped his arm too? Do you remember that?
Yeah, against Paul Craig, I think, snapped his arm.
Yeah, and I was watching the way he was talking about it, and I haven't gotten a chance to talk with Dave in person, but like what he said in the interview, like kind of like it made a lot of sense. He was talking about how in every fight he's been in, like I think that this is what I took away. I think I'm getting it right. He was talking about how he knew like you can get hurt, anything can happen in there. But in the most recent fight at the time, which was the one he snapped his arm, he was like, I just felt invincible going in there. And then that happened. And he said, I'll never be that arrogant going into a fight again or something. And I mean, not that like I try to be humble, so you'll never like catch me being cocky or being like, oh, I know I'm gonna win this fight or anything. But I mean, after the fight, you can't like help but just do reality checks on yourself. And I think that maybe going into the fight, I kind of just thought I was gonna win, and I still put in like anyone watching from the outside would never know this because I was just working hard, going to the gym and stuff. But I think in my head, I just was thinking too far ahead. Maybe like I
Mhm.
needed to be more present because in the first fight, I didn't care about the result, and I didn't care about like I knew going in there I could get hurt, whatever. And in this one, I was almost trying to tell myself like, "Hey, don't care about the result. Like, you think you're gonna win, but just like relax. Like, the result doesn't matter. Just go in and do you." But maybe I just got too far ahead of myself or something, and maybe those are just thoughts that I'm having because like I'm all out of whack right now, doing whatever. But I think I think it's good because I know like whether or not I was thinking like that, I will never go into a fight now thinking like nothing can happen to me. I'm invincible. You know what I mean?
Sure, man. I think that there's a really interesting dynamic there too. And you mentioned kind of your hockey career. Were you a goalie in hockey? Did I read?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that to me, I don't know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I never played hockey at all. But I feel like goalie is probably the most similar, the position that would prepare you for MMA the most. Because even though it's a team game, the goalie bears a whole lot of responsibility in every game. You know, everybody's
Yeah.
always quick to blame the goalie if something goes wrong in hockey. And MMA, obviously being the ultimate, in my opinion, individual sport, it's literally you versus another man inside a cage fighting, and the winner is the winner. Like that's as legit as it gets. But did being a goalie kind of prepare you mentally? Do you remember ever having bad games as a goalie where you let in a soft goal and you felt like you let people down or something like that?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. I played hockey like from 7 until I think I was like 18, 18 or 19. So I had plenty of soft goals I let in that if some video ever like if I ever see a video of it, I'll try to delete it. But
Hmm.
yeah, hockey taught me a lot because I like that was like throughout like the whole however many years I played, like I had like every experience you could have in a sport that MMA couldn't have taught me. Like this is new. Like I had injuries in hockey that were like a pulled groin or something. Like nothing like I don't know, it's weird because in hockey when you get injured it's just like wear and tear or like you tweak something and you just do like you just work to get back on the ice, but hockey is like before a game, like you're not thinking about how like anything could happen to you in there as a goalie cuz maybe players do, I don't know, cuz they like you can check and everything and there's like big hits. But as a goalie, I mean, you're just going in there to do your job and it's really not dangerous. But in MMA, like I feel like this is so much different because like you're fighting another dude in there and if we were in the street and that happened and I can't move my arm, like theoretically I'm dead. Like
Sure.
in hockey, if you pull your groin, you just like have the other goalie come in and replace you and then
Yeah,
you
right,
heal
right.
up. So that's why it's a little bit different. So I mean, hockey couldn't really prepare me for that, but like how to compete, work ethic, like knowing what you need to do and knowing that adversity is just part of any sport you do. In that sense, hockey helped a lot.
Sure, I think that's super interesting, dude. It's a crazy connection to me. Not just your hockey career, but like thinking about that, I always thought it was funny too. You being a goalie is like fighting's obviously physicality and fighting is part of hockey, but like you said, not so much for the goalie. So, of all positions of hockey players to enter MMA, you would never think that the goalie would be the guy. So, what was your first like fighting experience? Do you remember the first time you ever got in a fight?
Um, like on the ice, I never got in a one-on-one fight, especially because um any like travel hockey or anything like that, unless you're in juniors, like all the travel hockey, they don't let you fight. So
Okay.
you can get like you can throw one or two punches, but the ref's gonna separate as soon as he can. I think the first time I remember ever hitting someone was it's not like a crazy cool story like I got in a fight, but it's funny. Maybe someone will enjoy it. I was in a hotel on a hockey trip, and we had this one kid on our team, and he was so annoying. And this was 15 year, so I was 15, and I had this hat I really liked, and we were all sitting by the pool at night, and he took my hat and he threw it in the middle of the pool, and I was so mad because I had to go in and get it, and then I took it to the dryers to dry in the hotel, and it cost me like 50 cents to dry because like at the hotel you have to like put coins in,
Sure.
and it's drying, and I'm waiting for it, and I have like my one other buddy with me from the team, and we're waiting for it, and then it dries, and I put it back on, and we're walking back towards the pool, and that kid is walking down the hallway towards us, and he's like, I forget what he said, something smart. He was like, "Oh, is that hat still a little bit damp or something?" And I just remember I was holding something in my right hand, and I just threw a left, and I hit him as hard as I could right across the face. And I was like so freaked out that someone was gonna like get me in trouble. And I was like, I punched him so hard his lip started bleeding, and he didn't hit me back. But that's probably the only like fighting experience I had, other than going to the gym and sparring.
That's beautiful, man. Did anybody find out? Like, was there ever a repercussion there?
No, because he was a
That's
really bad
perfect.
kid. Like if he told anybody anything, like there's a million things we could pull up on him. I'm not gonna say his name, even though like
Nice.
even if I said his name, nothing's gonna happen. But I just won't give
Sure.
him that satisfaction.
Yeah, yeah. We're not trying to get anybody in trouble, but I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
You did kind of shut up the bully, for lack of a better term there.
yeah, and I've always been small too, so like that was like a big move for me, especially when I was 15. I was like 5'2" probably.
What was your friend's reaction when you did that? The guy walking with you, like, could he believe what just happened?
Um, I think he like just put his hand on my arm and said, "Bro, bro, bro, chill." But I remember the kid like ran down the hallway and he's like, "I'm not gonna fight
Nice.
you right now, like on a hockey trip." Like, yeah, okay, shut up, like whatever.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
good, dude. So did you ever tell anybody else that story, like at the gym or any of the kids or anything?
No, I actually never told anybody that story. I think I've told like maybe like a buddy or two, but I don't think I've ever like said it to anyone in the gym. I did tell someone in the gym. I almost got into an altercation at the gym I go to, like the workout gym. I go to Planet Fitness, and this is really funny. And I know this is actually a really funny story. So I was in the gym, and this was before like my arm was hurt or anything. Obviously, but it was recently, and I had my stuff in a locker, and like this huge dude, he was like my height, but he was like huge and bald, and he had his stuff all spread out along the thing. I was like, "Hey man, can I get in my locker real quick?" And he was like, "Yeah, would you just wait a sec? Can I swear on here or no?"
Yeah, yeah, you can. You're good.
Okay, because I'm just gonna say what he said. Um, I was like, "Oh yeah," but I was kind of in a hurry, so like I like opened my locker without touching his stuff, and I got my stuff, and he's like, "So you couldn't just wait one fucking second?" And I was like, "Dude, I just need to go." Like, and he got like right up in my face, like right here, and he was like, "Do you want a problem? Because we can have a problem." Like he was so mad, like something must have happened. And I'm not trying to fight you. And I was like, but if you touch me, I was like, we can go right here in the Planet Fitness locker room. And like he like walked away and he's like, just watch. He's like, why can't you just wait a second or something? Whatever. And then I was gonna report it to the front desk, but I was like, nah, don't be a snitch. So like a few weeks go by, and I walk in the gym, and I see him behind the front desk a few weeks later, and he's the manager of the Planet Fitness I go to, and
Oh
he's
my
like
god.
super nice to me now. And I don't know what happened to him that day. Maybe like a family member was in like maybe like I don't know, maybe his wife broke up with him or cheated on him, whatever. But I've never said anything to him or like said anything to anybody except for like my buddies. And I told Kama at the gym too. But that was pretty crazy because he's the manager at the Planet Fitness. Like who would have guessed?
That's freaking hilarious, dude. What did Kama think of
Yeah.
that story? I can just hear Kama's laugh as you go through it.
Yeah, he was laughing. They were all telling me I should have fought him in the Planet Fitness locker room, but at the time I didn't know he was the manager. I actually don't think I ever like updated them on the story. But yeah, he's the manager there, which is pretty
That's
crazy. And he's a nice
amazing.
guy. Just caught him
And
on a
Ka
bad day.
and on that note, Kama has pound for pound the best laugh in Pittsburgh. Like Kama Worthy's laugh is incredible. Everybody needs to experience that.
It's the best. Honestly, if you ever want to hear it, just come to the kids class. Him during the kids class, he's like laughing every other second. He's like, he asked the kids like, he told me he's like, you got to ask a lot of questions to get to know like what the kids are like, and he asks like the most off the wall questions to them that are hilarious. But the other day the kids were making fun of him because like the little Pez dispenser, like you pop the head up and like you get a
Mhm.
little candy. Um, he was telling a kid that if he like doesn't tuck his chin, and he gets hit, he's just gonna be like a Pez dispenser. But he called it Paz, and all the kids like stopped and they're like, "What?" And Cum was like, like a Paz dispenser, and no one knew what he's talking. And like one of the kids goes, "You mean Pez?" And he like didn't even say anything. And then someone brought in a little Pez dispenser for him the next day. It was
Nice.
hilarious.
Ah, that's
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
funny.
I love that. Is it true, man? Like I heard, I don't know if Ryan told me, who told me, but is it true that you started training at the academy because of Kama? Like you saw Kama fighting in the UFC and were like, "Hey, I need to go there."
Yeah, I was at my girlfriend's house and I liked MMA, but they didn't watch MMA before like I got into it, but just so happened it was ESPN Plus was on, and Kama was fighting the Violent Bob Ross guy. What's his name? I can't
Luis
remember. It's like,
Pena.
yeah, that's who it is. And he was fighting him, and then I was looking for a gym in Pittsburgh to go to at the time because I was like just about done with hockey. But I remember I was like looking at boxing gyms. Like I didn't really have an idea. Oh, did I cut out? Or am I good?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I was just looking at boxing gyms, and honestly, like that is the worst way to find a gym because it was popping up like the most random gyms that I have not heard of. They might be good gyms, I don't know, but they're all like an hour away. Just like if you ever want to start MMA, just you have to like look on Instagram or something because if you look up MMA gyms in Pittsburgh, it'll give you the most random stuff. But it said he was from Pittsburgh, so I found him on Instagram, and he had like 8,000 followers. So I just shot him a DM to see if he would respond, and he did. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I actually own the gym." He's like, "You can come down anytime." And I came down, and that's pretty much it.
That's freaking amazing, man. I love that story. And I'm going to also take this moment to plug our blog at 247fighting.com because Craig is 1000% correct in that it's extremely difficult to find a good gym to train at. And I wrote this blog post a couple weeks ago at this point. I don't remember when exactly. Oh, January 10th on my birthday. You see this? Like, look, Ryan's
Oh,
got me.
happy late birthday, my
Yeah,
bad.
literally, Ryan's got me working on my birthday writing blog posts, just so that's on the record. But yeah, so I broke down 6 really good gyms in Pittsburgh. There's more than 6, obviously, and I do mention a few others, but I mean, there's ones that we work with. The way that I framed this whole article is these are gyms that 247 Fighting Championships works with regularly that we feel comfortable completely vouching for. You know, if you go to any one of these 6 gyms, you're going to have a completely, A-class experience. It's going to be incredible for you. And there you go, the academy leading it off and all their huge names that they got coming through. And look at this. Look at this guy, Craig. Look at this guy sneaking in right there, Craig Perry. That's nice. But yeah, man, I think that's a great point, and that's something that we recognize too, is that it's hard to find a gym around here, even though they're everywhere. Like there really are so many
Yeah, for
good
real.
gyms. Yeah. What made you look? You said
I guess you just have to be part of it.
for sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, dude. You said you were looking for a boxing gym at first. Did you originally intend to just box, or was the goal always MMA?
No, it was boxing at first because, like I said, I was clueless. Like I was such a casual. I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do boxing because it's way easier to learn one thing than like all of them." And I remember telling everybody that asked me like what I was gonna do. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do boxing because like it's way." But it's so. I think it's the opposite. Like, I mean, I don't know. Boxing's cool, but I feel like boxing is like I don't know a lot about like the boxing side of things, but it seems like there's so many more boxers than there are MMA fighters, and it's so much more fun to do MMA. Like doing jujitsu and stuff, it looks really complicated, and it is, but it's way more fun than just boxing all the time. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, MMA is way cooler.
I feel like if you have ADD or just that kind of personality, MMA would be way better. You know, you can get into a couple different things.
Oh yeah,
So it's
It's
an
way better.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting dynamic at the academy too. Like you said, with the kids' classes, I know there's a lot of women's classes or just a lot of women training in general. So it really is kind of
Mhm.
the from you like amateur MMA fighters all the way up to Kama worthy experience and skill wise. It's crazy. Just the cast of people there. And I think that's one of the things that makes the academy super special. And one of the reasons why we started the blog post with the academy, just the names that have come through there, man, like we said, Kama, obviously Cody Garbrandt used to train there when it was Fight Club Pittsburgh, Adam Milstead, Mark Cherico, John DeJesus, like
Mhm.
the names that came through there. Jason Cardillo, I still think, and I did a podcast with him, and I still think he might be the best fighter to ever come out of Pittsburgh, and he just retired early. Like we never knew how good Jason
He's a
Cardillo,
beast.
dude. He's still in there, right? All the time.
Well, since I haven't been in there in a while, like on the wrestling nights, I don't know, but whenever I was there on wrestling nights, he was there a lot. Like, and oh my gosh, like when I was working on my wrestling a lot, and like I was getting pretty good at my takedown defense, but whenever he shoots in on you, it's like I swear he times your blinks. Like as soon as you blink, he's in. Because it's like I don't know, it's crazy. It's another level. It's
He
really another level.
He's literally I always describe him to people that never saw him fight. He was Pittsburgh's Khabib. He fights exactly like Khabib. When you watch his old fights, it's like once this guy gets his hands on you, man, the fight's over. You know,
Yeah.
I saw him
Hmm.
fight Daquan Townsend one time in West Virginia, and Daquan actually went on to fight in the UFC. Really dynamic striker. Long, kind of like Kama in a way, bigger than Kama, but similar to Kama. Super long, super rangy, technical striker, powerful, and Cardillo just completely shut him down. And Daquan was so frustrated after that fight because you knew he just wanted to be on his feet, wanted to light this dude up, but
Yeah.
Cardillo gave him zero opportunity to do that. It was a crazy fight, but he fought exactly like Khabib. So that, that's another guy that who knows how good he would have been if he just dedicated himself to that craft. But actually on the podcast, he talked about starting a life, wife, kids, wanted to settle down, didn't want to do that. And I think that's almost more admirable, man. Like how hard that would be to walk away when you know you're undefeated and you just got something else that's more important to you. Like I have massive respect for that.
Yeah, that especially because of like realizing like without going to the gym, I feel like crap. That is really cool. Like being able to do that, you definitely are on like another level of human.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
well, and
Yeah.
to your point, you're about to turn 21 years old. You're just not there yet, man, and that's fine. Like I said, there's a lot of fighting left
Yeah.
in your future, I think, dude.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, we're excited for it, man. I want that arm. What is I guess we never even really talked about it specifically, but what's the injury and how long is it going to keep you out? Because, of course, we're excited to see you get back in there. But just on a personal level, I want you to be able to get in there and throw that left again.
Yeah, me too. I think so. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact names of the ligaments or whatever, but everything was torn. Like everything's gone, but no broken bones, which was good. The guy said, and it was looking like it was going to need surgery, but we did like he gave me 2 weeks, and he's like, if it starts to heal in a way where it's going back in the direction it needs to, no surgery, which it did, luckily. So I definitely got blessed there. So no surgery, and I think he said 6 to 8 weeks I can start taking this thing off like every day, which this is just like an elbow pad that doesn't let my arm extend. And I can do like these little movements like 3 times a day to like start strengthening it, whatever. And after the 6 to 8 weeks, I'm probably gonna have another 6 to 8 weeks before I can start doing anything like wrestling, jujitsu wise, or like punching with this. But um, I'm finding every way to start doing like little things so that I'm not just like in however many weeks it's gonna be all of a sudden all at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Did
Yeah,
it did it
but it's
affect
okay.
did it affect your eating or like Xbox or anything? Was it a huge nuisance and beyond just fighting?
Um, Eating, no, because for the most part, well, if I'm eating pizza, I'll eat with my left hand, but like with a fork or anything, I'll eat with my right. Um, I don't play video games. My mom never let us have any video games, so I don't have anything.
Oh man, come on,
So no,
mom.
I know. That's what everyone can't believe it, but I mean, maybe she did me a favor because I have like an addictive personality, and I definitely would not be like, I don't know. I'd probably just be in the basement all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it was okay. The only things that it really affects are like showering, which you don't think about. Like I can't like scrubbing this part of my body, like
Mm.
right up here, is so difficult. So I gotta like I found a way to put like what are those things like the spongy things that are like a ball?
Yeah, loofah.
Um, yes, that I found a way to put that on the wall, and I'll put soap on it, and I'll like look like a bear scrubbing his back. But I mean, you adapt, like whatever. It is what it is.
That's great, dude. It's funny, I
Yeah.
do appreciate you making the most out of obviously a bad situation. No fighter wants the fight to go like that, but it's not just the fight. Like you said, you've got a long recovery ahead before we're going to see you back in there. So that truly does suck, but I appreciate you keeping, a positive mindset. You said, it was kind of dark there for a while right after the fight, which again, I think that's totally normal, man. I think it shows that you care about it and you're thinking about it. So I appreciate you kind of opening up for everybody listening and being honest about it, man, because I think there's a lot of fighters, and not just fighters, there's people in every walk of life that will encounter some adversity that they think is insurmountable. And they'll get in that moment where they think, there's no way I can get through this, or this ruins everything and it's time to quit. But like you said, you're already finding little things, teaching the kids class, kind of just watching obviously a lot of UFC interviews and fighter interviews. There's always those steps back and then back and better, which I'm sure, like we said, Kama and the whole crew are going to teach you. So just like Kama said, man, we're excited for the comeback. We genuinely think the best is yet to come for Craig Perry, man. So we're excited to see it.
Yeah, thank you. And before, like, I don't know if we're wrapping it up, but before,
Oh,
like,
go for it.
we end it, I just want to say, like, I haven't, like, I've always, like, I keep envisioning, like, before every time I fought, all 2 times, I've envisioned, like, what I want to say after, like, if I win. And since I haven't gotten to say it yet, like, to whoever listens, like, I just wanted to say, because I just feel, like I said, like, I have, like, the best support group around me. And I mean, I know like it's not super interesting to hear, but for everyone that like supports me, like I just want to like if you're listening, thank you because like everyone at the academy, all the coaches, all my family, like my girlfriend, even like you guys at 247, like you guys, like I don't know, everyone's been super nice. So like I don't want anyone to think that I'm like I don't know. I'm super grateful to everyone, and if I haven't gotten a chance to like thank anyone, like I couldn't honestly like I would be in a way worse spot right now without like all the support. And you and Ryan are the best. Like you guys are super nice. So I just want to say thank you.
Thanks, man. That means a lot to us. And I gotta say, for everybody listening, I do like the little behind the scenes nuggets and things like that. Right after the fight, Craig messaged us. We have kind of a shared Facebook group that we do all of our booking and kind of paperwork through. And Craig messaged us right away apologizing for the fight. And I just remember seeing that message and I was like, dude, there is literally absolutely nothing for you to apologize for right now. But everything he just said, is it's no joke. I mean, your mom obviously kept you from playing video games, but it seems like she raised a really good young man, dude. I gotta say, like, we've been super
Oh yeah.
impressed with your mentality the whole way through this. It was impressive. We've talked privately about it a lot. We'll say it on the record now, but I told Ryan a lot. Ryan told me a lot. Jim, Ryan, and I all talked about it. Like the way you handled that was impressive, dude. So just know, like, everybody that's in your corner that you just thanked, I'm sure they feel the same way, man. There's never been any step of the way that I thought, oh, that Craig Perry's being a little asshole right now. Like, it's never like that.
Yeah. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that.
For sure, dude. We'll get back after it soon, man. Like you said, you got a while with the arm to heal up, but this is an opportunity for you, obviously, to get back in the lab and truly come back better than ever. No matter how cliche it sounds, that's facts. You showed a lot of good things in that
Yeah.
first fight. Obviously, you didn't get to show too much in the second fight just based on how quickly the injury happened. But the third one, I feel like, is going to be the one that you really get to display those skills and put on a show.
Yeah, I hope so. Because it's a cliche, I feel like, because it's true. Like, you come back, you should be better than ever. Like, you got time, just improve. So, that's the goal.
For sure, man. We can't wait to see it, dude. And thanks for joining the podcast. Late. I know you're probably craving a blonde roast with cream for some reason right now, which is the craziest still coffee order of all time. But you do you,
I
man. You
know.
do you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
For sure, dude. We'll catch you again soon, man.
All right, sounds good.